Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I'm going to talk about the seasonal Super Godfest that has just gone live in North America. So, seasonal Super Godfest tend to be exciting affairs because not only are Godfest exclusives featured, but many top rarity and valuable seasonal cards as well. And the reason why this is so important is because in those respective seasonal events, it is usually a terrible idea to roll in because there's maybe like 6 to 10% at most of useful cards, but maybe it may not even be that high. Maybe it could be like only just 5% of the rolling pool is actually meaningful. But in these seasonal Super Godfest, those strong seasonal cards we want to actually roll are featured alongside Godfest exclusives. So we have a total of 14.5% for any seasonal card featured here, and then 12% chance for both 7 and 6-star Godfest exclusive, which brings the total rolling pool of truly good, desirable cards to 38.5. And if we take a look at the actual rolling roster right here, we have Beach Mariel, which is one of the absolute best rainbow cards you can have as a leader and sub. We got Halloween Madoo, which is a little awkward, I think. They're still nice. Their active skill through their weapon assist can be meaningful. I've seen people use it on Daytona. Halloween Chakiel is established as one of the absolute best subs you can ever have. Amazing double 10 combo, lots of resist, lots of skill boost, looping shield, amazing card overall. Beach Fujin is a wonderful weapon assist for damage absorption needs. It gives you useful awakenings or void damage void depending on what you have necessary. Halloween Cotton we know is a wonderful and powerful Daytona sub. In terms of the other seasonal cards featured, we have Den Bola, who is still a useful monofire card with a low base cooldown, good things all around. Halloween Inahime, an orb skin card who I would love to have because their active skill is like Kaiba, and we know Kaiba is great. And what they do is that it's a shield and it's a multi-turn shield and a multi-turn delay, solving multiple problems at the same time. You can delay the beginning floor, you can shield the big hits at the end of the dungeon. Such a high value card in one. And then finally, we also have Seasonal Thor, which we're just going to pretend he doesn't really exist because they're not that great. But point of the matter is, virtually every seasonal card is meaningful. We also have good Godfest exclusive. There is Seawolf, there is Nautilus, there is Daytona. So, as a whole, this is a good event to roll in, especially if you don't have these seasonal cards or you can gain value out of these seasonal cards, and even duplicates of those seasonal cards is meaningful because, generally speaking, super high rarity seasonal cards tend to get buffs and evolutions, and lots of them have multiple forms of weapon assist, which you may want to make, but you may not have been able to justify making if you only had a single copy because you want to leverage their base forms. And in addition to all of these seasonal Godfests, we also have the debut of 2 new 7-star Godfest exclusives, which we're going to take a quick look at right away. So this is like the same series as like Taula, Klaus, and Priscilla. So all their base forms are nearly identical, in the sense that they're a 10 combo, 7 combo card with 3 enhanced combo orb awakenings, basically identical, and they have 6 skill boosts for Linus and Katja, so huge amount of skill boost potentially, or 4 skill boosts with a super resist. They have a 3-turn base cooldown, which gives you no Skyfalls, unlocks the board, and creates 6 of their respective orb color. And you can argue like this can be a useful sub potentially for monocolor teams if you don't have many other options available, but they still have valuable they still are valuable for ranking dungeons. And the reason why I say for ranking dungeons is because high skill boost card, which means you get to use the active skills you want. They have a low base cooldown to inherit what you need. They have large personal damage to overcome the respective spawn in the ranking dungeon, and their 3 enhanced combo awakenings lead to bonus points. Every time you match multiple combos of that respective color, you are going to get bonus points. So they're good for ranking dungeons for that reason. But aside from that, I feel like they're a little bit awkward in the sense that they're not going to outpace other options. But if you do get them, you don't have other better things to utilize, they're never going to be a bad thing to have on a given team, I feel, because 3 skill boosts, 3 base turn cooldown, lots of skill boosts, super resist, meaningful personal damage, never a bad thing overall. And then for Linus's evolved form, they will be featuring an evolving, progressing active skill, which is a new effect coming out in the future. But we look at their awakenings, they can have up to 4 skill boosts, or 2 skill boosts who have super blind or jammer, so nice overall. They have an L, which is helpful. They have a 10 combo and 2 VDPs and 2 machine killers. So machine killing is great in Shura 1, but that's probably not needed because most things hit so hard anyways. And in Mysterious Dimensions 2, which is the hardest dungeon currently available. The machine killers help ensure that Linus can double cap against the end spawns, which are the most tanky and you want to kill them as fast as possible, which can be meaningful. But the problem is, I feel like they're a little bit awkward the way they're situated, because their active skill would be good, but the problem is you need to get it to the second stage to really shine, because their active skill is a 10-turn cooldown, and you have to use this active skill itself. You can't use an inherit to accelerate this to the next step. So in the first step, it gives you 1 turn of damage absorb and attribute absorb cancellation, and then 1 turn of 50% shield. So a shielding is always helpful in any dungeon. It helps you tank things like big hits after the bosses go below half health. And the 1 turn absorb is good for like Shura 1 and below. And Shura 2 actually is good as well, because there is potentially 1 color absorb, which you would have enough to deal with. So not bad there, but the problem is you need 2 turns of absorb cancellation for Shura 3, for MD2, you just need more, and same with MD1, you just need more turns, and you only get the 2 turns of 50% shield and the 2 turns of double absorb cancellation after you use it for the second time. So the problem is with an 11-turn cooldown, you have to use it at the beginning of the dungeon, which means all you are benefiting from is a single shield, and then you have to wait an 11 turns more to get it charged up in time to deal with the absorption spawns later. I think it's a little bit cumbersome in that aspect overall, but maybe if we have dungeons where this active skill just lines up beautifully, it can be meaningful. Again, with the killers, it's only going to make them truly good against machine-type spawns, and for Royal Oak teams, which I feel like is where most water teams are going to have in some way, shape, or form, the 10 combo is going to let them damage cap most of the time. VDP is obviously going to cap for sure. The double capping is inconsistent because killers only work against that respective spawn, so that could be a little problematic. So I feel like it's just a nice potential damage stick against machine-heavy dungeons, but I think the active skill can be a little bit underwhelming. And then for Katja in her evolved form, she has double 10 combo and lots of killers. So right away, she has 4 skill boosts and double 10 combo and killers. She's going to double cap with relative ease, especially if you're an attacker, physical, or healer spawn. Huge amounts of damage is going to be dealt to those respective spawns. So yay for that. If we look at their active skill, it's another evolving one, and it does for a single turn, giving you RCV, movement time, and an attack buff along with 2 turns of delay. So this is good to do at the beginning of a dungeon. You can put double cap on her and an inherit of whatever you want. And even if she gets delayed, which most likely happens on floor 1, you can then use her base skill to delay them in turn, and then you advance and progress her active skill. And her active skill, when it progresses, gives you 3 turns of 3 times movement time, RCV, and attack along with the same 2-turn delay. So it's a nice universal buffer with the delay. Useful thing to have, big damage stick overall. It gives you the dark sub attribute if you're hungering for that for all attribute requirements. Just be mindful of the fact that she does not have any VDP, so any void spawns will obviously get voided out. But at the same time, I think she's a nice strong damage stick, a good universal buffer, and it does get stronger the buffing, but the buffing is kind of okay necessarily. You don't really usually need that much more buffing. It's just more so to overwrite existing debuffs, but hey, it's a little bit stronger. Just be mindful of the fact that it's a 10-turn cooldown, so you can't rely on it all the time, but I feel like Katja could possibly pop up on mono fire teams just for like the utility she does bring. So with that being said, this is still a good event to roll in because you have a 38.5% chance of getting anything of true value. And I really think that's a good deal because if you roll any of those seasonal cards, that's a huge amount of stones saved. I monster exchange for my Halloween Chat Heal. That's 5 7-star Godfest exclusives. 5 7-star Godfest exclusives at, say, a 1... It's usually like a 16% rate to get a 7-star Godfest exclusive for regular Super Godfest. So you'd have to roll, I don't know, so many times. Or even if it's like, say, just a 1 in 3 chance. To make my math easier, I could double it later. 1 in 3 chance. It's going to need 5 rolls being successful, so 15 rolls total, 150 stones. You can argue that Halloween Chat is like 150 stones saved in terms of trade fodder, or 300 if the rolling rates are really like 1 in 6 chance for a 7-star. Point of the matter is, getting these seasonal cards is huge. Getting the Orb Skin cards is huge because you don't have to buy them. I think it's a good event. I plan to roll in this event. I will upload my rolls to YouTube at a later time, depending on when you watch this video. So with that being said, let me know what you think about this event in the comments down below. Do you think it's worth rolling in? And if you did end up rolling in it, let me know how it panned out. Regardless of all that, hopefully you all have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.